Hello, this is my one of three vlogs for Bob's class. This is my Bob vlog, my first Bob vlog as well. It was really cool to know that Bob has actually watched some of my previous vlogs in the past. I didn't know that he had, I just assumed it was just him always watching them. So this one's for you, Bob. The first thing I would like to discuss is I really like the analogy that they used with Bob Ross in one of the videos that we had watched, the mistakes being happy accidents. And I think that really speaks to the pedagogical values of mistakes aren't mistakes, they're learning curves and learning opportunities. We encourage failure, we learn more from them. And I really related to the math article that we had also in our readings, because as somebody who notoriously was very bad at math, I just remember a moment when I was in grade 5 asking for somebody, or not somebody, my teacher, to explain what division was. We just learned multiplication and we were learning division. And they just kept saying, you have to divide. And I kept asking what division was, and they kept going through long division, just not telling me, hey, multiplication is adding numbers, and then division is subtracting numbers and seeing what's left over. I wish that that teacher had just understood that I was asking for the basic part of the scaffolding for that. So it's really a reflective moment to see in my life the effective educators I have had and I haven't had, and seeing the impact that that's actually made on me as a person. And it's really hindsight's 2020. It really makes me think of how much I should have appreciated the quality educators I had in my life while I had them. But as most people are, they are kind of too busy with their own lives and problems to really kind of understand all of the hard work that dedicated mentors and educators make, and the sacrifice and the commitment to actually give a well-rounded pedagogy and educational approach. And looking back on it, I'm like, wow, I had some fantastic educators, and I also had some not fantastic ones, but that's the trade-off, right? Being able to recognize the quality and the lack of quality that I had received in my educational experience. So I just kind of I really enjoyed that, kind of seeing how it all kind of loops back together, which is just interesting to me. On one of the other talking points, I wanted to speak on the importance of curating a positive classroom environment. I personally have seen and implemented, when you build that foundational basis of a respectful, positive classroom environment. I found my classroom management when I was in my practicum and when I was in my LTO position, I didn't have behavioral issues in my classrooms. Like the song that I used for the intro, two of my students made that when I was in my practicum, and the first day I was there, they were sassy to me. And I'll never forget, because they were just not doing homework and working on things. And it's a moment of reflection for me, because we all need breaks. And that's something I incorporated later on with my spoon strategy, where they could take a 5-minute break. But that's besides the point. And I went over and I said, hey, you boys need to, do your homework. You need to get back to it. They started sassing me. And my AT, thankfully, he was great, stepped up for me. And he said, I did not just hear you speaking to a teacher like that. And that was like a moment where I was like, oh, I'm a teacher now. And I took that opportunity to see where I can improve in my approach and connections and curating that positive and safe environment. And those two students ended up being fantastic students for me. They actually put a lot of effort and care into every single thing that I had asked them to collaborate with, like moving forward. I asked them to make this intro song for my vlogs. because I wanted to try and incorporate different elements that actually engage them. They are really talented musicians, and I said, fellas, here's the deal. I want to see some quality work from you, and I want to challenge you. So I told them, here's the deal. We can sub one of your lessons for this, or assignments for this alternative assignment where you make me a song for my vlog intros, but you also have to create a video explaining your thought process behind it. And they loved it. And I will always have that song. And they actually, moving forward, sent me every single song that they created after that point. And I think about those kids a lot. And I hope they're doing well, because I'm not at the same school anymore that they're at. And they're very talented. And I know that they have what it takes and the drive and dedication to elevate where they are now and really take their ambitions where they need to go. So kind of like a little lesson for me. Well, everything's a lesson for me when you think about it hard enough. Moving on from that, just another note for the positive classroom environment. Something that is imperative to me is making sure that my students feel safe. I cannot have a respectable classroom without the foundational basis of it being that respect is both given from me and from my students. It's not a one-way street where you just do what I say because I told you so and I'm the teacher. I don't believe it works like that. You can't be ignorant to the fact that these are human beings that you're teaching and demand respect from them, because you're not going to garner it, simply put. So just things that as we go through this class, I kind of reflect into my journey, and I'm like, oh yeah, I kind of see it all coming full circle, which is appropriate because really these last two classes are to evaluate essentially how we've grown as educators. So I just thought that was kind of cool. On that note, we talked about what makes an effective and an ineffective teacher, and something that I hadn't pointed out in class was its passion. There's a silly little saying that I say sometimes when I do things for people and they say, oh, you didn't have to do that. And I always like to say, well, I only do the things I want to do. And I find that extremely relevant. I am in the classroom because I want to be there, because I want to help people. And that, I feel, is part of my foundational basis in teaching philosophy and humanism. I want to be there. I want to help people. And it's not for any kind of gain other than to see other people be risen up and just help them grow. I'm a patient person at times, depending on things, for my students always, but I will wait and I will nurture what I can for somebody else's betterment in the future. And that's what I keep just bringing it back to and relating it to, because ultimately, in my eyes at least, that's what an educator should be. Somebody that is not in it just for a paycheck, but they're in it because they genuinely care and they want to be there and help others, at least in my humble opinion. I'm really thankful for the teachers that have impacted me in my life, and I thank them, and I wish I could see them today and shake their hand and say thank you. So I'm going to take this moment to say thank you to all the fantastic professors that I've had in this program. They've helped me elevate and challenge myself and rise to that occasion to actually become who I am today. And these teachings and the people I surround myself with will help me continue elevating and rising to even higher expectations. If you had asked me 2 years ago if I would be in this position, I wouldn't believe you. And I'm just really proud of the effort that I've put into this to get to where I am. And that's kind of something that I'm really trying to focus in on as I finish this program, is reminding myself that I'm not just doing it for a mark. I'm doing it because I want to personally prove it to myself and have that personal satisfaction of knowing that I can do it and that I did do it. Other than that, I'm going to quickly just speak about my presentation that I had on Wednesday. It was a challenge having a very minimal amount of time to create a lesson plan and do the actual presentation and have a fully fleshed out project. But I'm very thankful and grateful for the fantastic team members I had working alongside me in this team to actually make something so wonderful. And I'm looking forward to creating even more just outside of the box ideas. That's what I'm really trying to try and obtain. Other than that, mandatory tech credit, it's kind of nice knowing that even though it is a mandatory 9 or 10 grade credit, it is, for the most part, it'll even out eventually, but it's not really going to affect us, other than the fact that there's going to be educators in our tech industries that are not necessarily qualified. But you have to fill in the gaps somewhere, and that's why programs like this are going to help kind of bridge that gap, which I'm thankful for. In general, it's effort and care, and as long as you have that and you can reflect and feed that intrinsic desire to do better within yourself and within your students, you can learn and do anything. A year ago, I didn't know how to do basically any video work, and I was placed into a practicum where half the classes I had to teach were in video. And I took that as an opportunity to do these vlogs. Obviously, right now, I don't have my 3 camera setup. I just don't have that many cameras. I'm just using my laptop today. I'm keeping it simple. Another lesson I've learned. And I'm very proud of the things that I've created and the goals and aspirations that I've set up in my head for the future. Anything else? No, just, yeah. I think at the end of the day, I'm reflective enough, but also stubborn enough to do the things that I want to do despite others telling me that there's no point. And that is something I will take with me till the day I am no longer here. All right. Y'all have a good night, and I'll see you later.